Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to My Thing, Your Thing. My name is Hannah.
And I'm Donovan.
And this is one of my things.
Yeah, also, if I sound different, it's because I have a new microphone.
You have one new mic.
Ooh.
Ew. It also has like this crazy arm situation going on.
Yeah,
too.
it's like I'm talking into a robot's dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one of my things. This is a movie that I liked a lot growing up as a kid. We're watching Clue from 1985.
Wow. Listeners, it might shock you to know that I've never seen this movie before.
I'm very excited to show it to you, and I want to know what you think.
Yeah, the thing that kind of is crazy to me about not seeing this movie is that I like everybody in it.
Yeah.
And I just, it never occurred to me to watch it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a stacked goddamn cast.
It really is.
So Clue is a 1985 murder mystery comedy. It's based off the board game by the same name. The movie itself was not super successful in the U.S., but became a cult classic over time.
Yeah.
It did really well in, VHS and then DVD sales.
Yeah, if you're thinking to yourself, Clue, I've never heard of that game before, it's because you're, British. It's Cluedo.
Yeah. So Clue's a pretty popular board game. I played it as a kid with my family.
Same.
It was originally released in Great Britain in 1949 under the name Cluedo,
Yay.
a portmanteau of Clue and Ludo, which is Latin for I play. They changed the name for America because we don't really truck with Latin over here.
Bullshit!
We also don't really truck with the phrase have no truck with, so,
Yeah, that's true.
So this did become a bit of a cult classic, and people still kind of love this movie. I think it's sitting at combined 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's better than the last couple James Bonds we've watched.
Yeah. And the popularity of this movie perhaps led studios to think that they could make other successful board game movies like Battleship and Ouija, and who could forget Candyland, the Great Lollipop Adventure.
I did.
Everybody did.
I didn't even know that I had to remember it.
Nope. Also, they made 4 Ouija movies. Also, I pronounce it Ouija because it's pronounced Ouija. It's not whatever.
Elijah?
Yeah. When they asked the board what to call it when the guy first invented it before he licensed it to Hasbro, it spelled out "we" and "ja" because that's yes and yes in French and German.
Yeah.
It's Ouija.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie, Clue, opens with several people gathering at a large and imposing mansion on a dark and stormy night.
Yeah, good stuff.
They all have some sort of tie to the owner of the mansion, Mr. Body, and they all have motives to get rid of him.
Yep.
And thus are all suspects when the power goes out for a minute and Mr. Body is discovered dead.
Yeah, damn.
So then the rest of the movie is them trying to figure out what's going on, essentially.
Yeah, it's like a game of Clue.
It's like a game of Clue. The cast is the 6 optional characters from the board games with a few additions. There's Miss Peacock, Miss White, Miss Scarlet, Mr. Green, Professor Plum, and Colonel Mustard. It always annoyed me that, the guys have jobs, and, the jobs are in their names, and then the women are just women. But, it was made in 1949.
I was about to say, sorry.
So they're all here, as is Wadsworth, the butler.
Hooray.
Yvette the maid and Mrs. Ho the cook. There are also a few other minor characters who pop up and sometimes die.
Yay. I love it when people that aren't important die.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was written and directed by Jonathan Lynn, who also wrote and directed My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Co-writer on this is Jonathan Landis. Unfortunate.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I mean, he's better than his son.
Yeah, that's true. He did kill those people, though.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. I was just going to say that probably a future Halloween episode is probably going to be American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love that movie.
And I've never seen it.
And then, yeah, it'll be perfect. Although, John Landis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Landis also. So this movie is pretty famous for having multiple endings, and on the DVD feature you can either watch one movie or one ending, so it'll be the whole movie with one ending.
Yeah.
Or you can pick an option to watch all 3 endings.
Ooh.
John Landis apparently was the one who wrote the multiple endings.
Yeah.
And so he did the treatment for that. There's also apparently a 4th secret ending, which was a lot darker than the other ones, and they're maybe we don't do that.
Yeah. Is that on the DVD?
No, it never got filmed. It was cut before the script, actually.
Oh, okay. So it was just conceptual.
Yeah.
Okay.
This film was not a commercial success. It didn't even make back its budget when it was in theaters. It only made $14.6 million on a $15 million budget.
Yeah.
Reviews at the time were like mixed to kind of negative, but over the time people have really come to love it. The current ratings on Rotten Tomatoes are 73% for critics and 86% for audiences.
Yeah, I kind of feel like any movie that Tim Curry is in, it's basically just, it's not going to make any money, but it is going to become a cultural, like, cult classic.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, that's just how Tim Curry do.
That is how Tim Curry do.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much more about this movie before we watch it because it is a murder mystery, and so it's a little bit more fun to kind of go in blind.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are probably some bigger parts of this that you know because you've seen the memes, and we'll talk about them afterwards.
Yeah. We'll probably do this afterwards, too. But, like, so the 6 main people, like, who are the actors who are the 6 main people?
That is Eileen Brennan, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Martin Mull, and Leslie Ann Warren.
I love Christopher Lloyd.
Yes, yeah. Christopher Lloyd is great. Christopher Lloyd is great in this. Michael McKean.
Oh, yeah. Of Spinal Tap fame.
Of Spinal Tap fame.
And in fact, he's going to, here in the future, I'm going to do the like the Waiting for Guffman and a lot of those other mockumentary episodes, and Michael McKean's going to be in a bunch of those.
And we're going to be talking about them a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these folks. Goddamn.
Stacked cast.
What a great cast.
I know.
Stacked with actors. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Foo Fighters song, Stacked Actors. Weird. Anyway, yeah.
Stacked in other ways as well, but we'll talk about that after the movie also.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fun. All right, cool. I have something to look forward to. Suspense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to watch this thing?
I want to watch this thing.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day away.
And we're back.
Yep.
What'd you think?
I had a good time. I don't know if I would say it was like the best movie ever.
Oh, I don't think it's the best movie ever, but I think it's a great movie if you want to just have like a silly, goofy time for a little bit.
Yeah. I don't disagree. It is a good movie for having a silly, goofy time. As I said many times while we were watching it, Tim Curry's having a lot of fun.
He is at like the most Tim Curry, I think.
He's just completely going for it.
Uh-huh.
Literally like throwing his body all over the place. A couple of the other like characters were a lot of fun. Mrs. White's my favorite.
Oh, she's very good.
Yeah,
yes.
Madeline Kahn. God, what an amazing comedic actress.
So amazing. Yeah, so good. And like, she's the one that has like the really big meme from this for like the flames on the side of my face, heaving breath. And I always forget that that's like in one of the alternate endings. So like if you've seen it and you've only seen like the one ending, there's the chance that you've not seen that bit.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the whole alternate endings thing. Like, so if you saw it in theaters, there was just a random chance you'd get one of the 3.
Yeah, there in some of the reviews at the time, people were like, it's a gimmick to like get people in seats, and it kind of was.
Yeah, I have to say, so 2 of the endings are someone did it, and Wadsworth is an FBI agent, and then the third ending is everyone did it. But also, Wadsworth is actually Mr. Body, and Michael McKean's character, Mr. Green, is a plant.
Yeah. He works for the FBI.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Like, I feel like I would have been happier with... I thought the Mrs. Scarlet, the Miss Scarlet one made the most sense to me.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, both Siskel and Ebert said that was their favorite of the endings, and they thought that the last one was the weakest, although that's my favorite.
It's the goofiest, but that's, I think, kind of maybe my problem with it.
Sure.
A little bit, is that it's kind of goofy a little over the top.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
We might want to skip like a plot rundown because it's impossible to do a blow by blow for this.
Yeah, the very general overview is that they're in a house, and then there's a murder, and then there's 5 more murders over the course of the night, and then you've got to figure out who did it.
And nobody trusts anybody. There are a bunch of weapons in play. This is a giant house that presumably nobody really knows the layout of because none of them have been here before, except for some of them have, perhaps. And then people keep dying, and like it keeps being played for laughs that people keep dying. There's a point when like we're 3 murders in, and people like just walk into a room and there's someone else lying dead on the billiard table, and they all just silently turn around and walk back out. And
yeah,
like,
that one was good. I will say I love there are some gags in this movie that work really, really well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I really, really like them. There are other gags that I think just completely fall flat on their face.
Sure.
Like just some of the one-liners that some of the humor like just comes very naturally.
Yeah.
There's a line that comes from like what someone else says, but then there's a couple where it's really obviously forced, like nobody said the thing and they sort of like have to like set it up, but there's no reason that they set it up.
Sure.
I don't know,
And then there are like little moments like in the third ending when like Wadsworth's turned the lights off and then he turns it back on, and Mr. Green says, like, he's like yells, "I hate it when he does that," and Mrs. White is just there and she just goes, "Ah!"
Yeah. The way she makes that noise too, she just sort of goes like, "Ah!" Like it's just really good.
It's just completely flat affect on her
Yeah.
face. It's great.
I can imagine like being on set, and if somebody did that, I couldn't keep a straight face. I would
my
just
God.
lose my mind. Some of the gags were great, and you know, I do like a good tight. There's not that many characters. It's only in one place. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The prospect of having multiple endings.
Yeah.
Not only is it a little bit of a gimmick, but also a murder mystery.
Sure.
Just by the very like construction of a murder mystery, there is like you have to have things sort of planted and paid off. You have to have, a logical sequence of events where characters, do certain things. And so the fact that there's 3 different endings where 3 possible different things happened and like certain characters were or were not in certain scenes or whatever, I kind of think that flies in the very face of a murder mystery. It sort of ruins the concept of a murder mystery.
I mean, I don't disagree. This movie
Yeah.
does kind of rely on you. Like, if you pick an ending, it kind of relies on you not going back to double check. Because, like, there are 3 different people that they at various times said were not in the kitchen with them. But, like, if you go back and watch that, like, they're all on screen at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I suppose it's done in a way that, like, they could have just slipped off screen for a little bit. But, like, the timing would have been, like, way off, basically. But again, it's a silly, goofy time for me. This is one of those, like, fully, like, I can absolutely turn my brain off and just enjoy it and have a great time.
I don't disagree with you. To me, it's like, I wish they had leaned either a little harder into the murder mystery part, or they had leaned a little harder into the farcical, like, comedy part. I feel like they tried to split the difference a little bit.
Sure.
And I think it doesn't work that way. Maybe it's just because I think some of the humor didn't land for me. Like if all of the jokes had landed for me, like if every single funny thing that anybody had said, like really made me guffaw, then I maybe would just not care about it as much. Because like, you think about a movie like Airplane, like
sure.
that the plot of that movie doesn't hold. You don't care about the plot. It's basically just a stream of jokes.
Yeah.
This movie I think kind of tries to make you think about, like, care about the plot a little bit when it kind of shouldn't.
When it should just be a stream of jokes.
It should just kind of be a stream of jokes, or at least maybe the jokes should just be better. I don't know. But some of them are like I'm being critical right now, and maybe I'm not being fair, but I do honestly think that some of the jokes are really funny. Mm-hmm. Some of the characters are really, really funny. And I like I said, it's fun watching Tim Curry chew scenery.
Oh, he is having the most amount of fun.
He's just having an absolute blast. Probably zooted too. Like he's just like losing his mind out there.
Let's talk about some of the actors in this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was
absolutely.
going to start with Tim Curry. Someone once said that a pretty good litmus test for people is what do you know Tim Curry from first? What's the first movie you remember Tim Curry in?
Wow, what an excellent question.
Or when you think of Tim Curry, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh my god. The first thing I remember Tim Curry being in was the It miniseries.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even really watch it necessarily, but I didn't watch Rocky Horror until a lot later.
Sure.
I didn't watch I haven't watched Muppets Treasure Island.
Muppet Treasure Island is when I think of Tim Curry, I think of Muppet Treasure Island first.
Mm-hmm.
And we will at some point be watching Muppet Treasure Island. Another thing that someone once said that I highly agree with is that Tim Curry is really good at Muppet Treasure Island because he acts as if he is a Muppet.
Yeah.
And Michael Caine is really good in A Muppet Christmas Carol because he treats all the other Muppets as if they're actors.
Yes, I do. I agree with that. That there's sort of a buy-in that you get from. I mean, hell, Tim Curry is basically a living Muppet.
Oh my god,
That's just kind of he's just in this movie, he's just throwing himself around
he's throwing himself around. He's throwing other people around. He
Yeah.
tosses Mr. Green on the floor 8 times.
Yeah, the physical comedy in a few scenes is quite good.
Very good. Yeah.
And physical comedy is tough to do. You have to have other actors be really comfortable and willing to go out there and do it. And I think especially Michael McKean does a really good job with that.
Yes.
I think all of the actors to a certain extent do well with that. So that is a lot of fun. To me, this is a great movie, almost like the board game. It's a great movie to have a bunch of people in a room, just sort of while you're hanging out, you can put this movie on. You can kind of laugh at it. You don't have to pay super close attention to it, you know?
And, much like Clue, the board game, you can just kind of, run around accusing people of, it was you.
I do like the stuff, having the cupboard where all the weapons are in and having, evidence in the envelopes and then having people make accusations and have the evidence and stuff going through it. That was kind of fun.
So Tim Curry has been in a bunch of other stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's, you've seen him in something. But he's also done a bunch of voice work, which I didn't know about when I was looking into this. He was Auntie Whispers in Over the Garden Wall.
I have not seen Over the Garden Wall yet.
You've not seen Over the Garden Wall. Okay.
No.
And he was also Nigel, the dad in The Wild Thornberrys.
Yes. Honestly, I didn't know who Tim Curry was, but that was probably my first introduction to Tim Curry as an entity.
Sure.
And also, I like calling Tim Curry an entity because calling him human is
a bit of a disservice.
Yeah, no, he's definitely an entity of some kind.
Yes.
Also, all I can think of is Brendan Lee Mulligan's hot crisp crust.
You saucy little minx.
Has-been Hotel, we're back, baby.
So Miss Peacock was played by Eileen Brennan.
Yeah.
She's had a long and varied career.
Yes.
She started on stage and actually created the role of Irene Malloy in Hello, Dolly.
Interesting.
She was the first person to do that, yeah.
I did not know that.
So she is a triple threat, singer, dancer, actress. And in fact, all of the women, well, basically everybody in this movie, started at some point or some amount doing, also singing and or on Broadway.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. She won both an Emmy and a Golden Globe for her work in Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn.
Oh.
And she's she was named one of the best supporting actresses of her generation, basically.
Sure, yeah.
She's really good friends with Goldie Hawn, and in fact was with her coming out of a restaurant when a car jumped the curb and hit her, and did she was in a massive accident and in the hospital for a really long time. 2 years before this movie came out.
Yikes.
So yeah, when she was that's part of the reason why she was not kind of thrown around a whole lot is because she had a bunch of surgeries basically.
Totally.
Mrs. White, Madeline Kahn.
Oh god, I love Madeline Kahn so much.
She's so good.
She's, like I said, just one of the funniest people to ever be in any movies.
Yeah, so she also started on stage singing, dancing, and acting. She hit Hollywood hard, landing roles in movies like Paper Moon, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, The Muppet Movie, History of the World Part 1.
Yeah, she was a frequent Mel Brooks collaborator.
Yes.
She's fantastic in Blazing Saddles. She's fantastic in Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yes.
She's just so funny.
Just looking at her, she like looks like the like sort of most like charming classic kind of lady, the sort of lady that like people now are like, oh, I want to be. If I'm like, if you think of someone who has like classic beauty, classic grace,
Yes.
that. But then she just delivers lines in the funniest way possible, as if
Yeah.
it were nothing. It's effortless.
Yeah, as you said, the sound that she made was really good.
Miss Scarlet was Leslie Ann Warren. She got her first big break as Cinderella in the 1970s TV version of Roger and Hammerstein.
Yo, okay.
She had a long and successful career, mostly acting in TV shows and movies.
Yes.
She was in the original Mission Impossible
Yes, she was.
for quite a while. Mm-hmm. She's still working today. She's had 2 movies come out this year and was also in 2 episodes of 911.
Okay.
Professor Plum was played by Christopher Lloyd.
Yup.
He was in Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He was Uncle Fester in The Addams Family. His nephew is Sam Lloyd, who was the lawyer on Scrubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm a big fan of Christopher Lloyd. He's a Klingon in Star Trek 3, Search for Spock.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. That's a fun one.
that's a fun one.
I do quite like that. I mean, he's in a ton of stuff.
So much.
Are you going to talk about his voice acting work?
I had not really seen a whole bunch, but go ahead.
He's the voice of Rasputin in Anastasia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think he was also he's Murloc in DuckTales. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Woo.
Woo.
Yep.
Mr. Green was played by Michael McKean. I'm not really sure what more I can say that wasn't said in the Spinal Tap episode, or won't be discussed when we do further further episodes.
Yeah, it's totally true.
He was really good in this.
I know. He's, in a weird way, that's maybe like, it's kind of why I almost think the third ending is the weakest, because it throws out the character of Mr. Green, the whole time.
Yeah.
Obviously the joke of, I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife. It's like, because he was pretending to be gay.
Right.
I like the rest of it. I like the, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Colonel Mustard was Martin Mull. He started as a musical comedian, actually, and opened for a bunch of big acts like Randy Newman, Frank Zappa, Billy Joel, and Bruce Springsteen.
What an interesting cross-section of music.
I know, right? He's also been he's been working for a really long time. The thing that I know him the most from was he was the principal on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
He was also
totally was.
Detective Parmesan in Arrested Development.
He was Colonel Mustard and Detective Parmesan.
And Detective Parmesan. Yeah. There's even a joke, like a throwaway visual gag in a couple of Arrested Development episodes where someone is like eating toast and it's got like Parmesan and mustard on it.
Oh boy.
In a reference to like his characters.
Yeah, sure.
He was also the voice of Vlad Masters in Danny Phantom for some of our younger.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, he was definitely of the main 6, well, main 7, I guess, including Tim Curry. The one I had I was the least familiar with, but that, obviously, great career.
Yvette the maid. My gosh.
Yeah.
If you ever think of like a sexy French maid outfit, you're picturing Yvette in Clue.
Oh boy.
She was played by Colleen Camp, who paid for college by training parrots at Busch Gardens.
No shit.
I'm not joking.
That's wild.
She wanted to be an actress, and so she did. She paid for college by doing shows multiple days, like 6 shows a week, I think is what she did.
Damn.
And she actually got discovered by a talent agent when she did a televised hour-long special with her birds. And so someone saw her and was like, hey, do you want to be in the pictures? And she was like, yes, thank you.
That's really cool. I mean, she's got the stuff.
Yeah.
For televisual broadcast. She has many assets. Yeah.
She's had mostly smaller but like very consistent parts in movies and TV's shows. She was in Wayne's World, and also she was in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Body is Ving Lee. Do you know the band Fear?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the front man.
Fear is an interesting band.
I didn't know a whole lot about them, and when I was looking at this, I kind of fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole about the SNL.
Yes, famous
SNL performance.
Infamous, actually, is probably better describing it.
I very quickly want to talk about this story because I learned all about all of this afternoon, and now I'm going to info dump on all of you. Basically, like, Fear was kind of friends with John Belushi, and he was going to do an episode of SNL, and he was like, come be the band on SNL, and they were like, okay, and then John
Belushi was like really plugged into like punk and like underground music. There's like a famous photo of John Belushi wearing like a Black Flag t-shirt. Yeah.
And so he also convinced Lon Reichel to have a bunch of like other like punk bands and like fans of punk come be at the show and actually like slam dance.
Yeah.
And so a bunch of people, like far more than they had asked for, all showed up to go like slam dance on SNL, and it immediately fell apart.
Yeah.
I watched this video and they were talking about it, and one of the guys who was organizing it, when they were doing the pre-run basically, they were like, okay, if we fuck this up, they won't let us be on the actual show. So like, all of you behave yourself right now. And then they did the show, and like they played like 4 songs in a row, which I don't think that. Did SNL used to do that? Because right now it's always like 2 songs.
It's basically partially because Fear, they were in that early punk rock thing where like all their songs were like a minute and a half long.
Oh, fair.
I think that was kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they played several songs and people were slam dancing really hard, and everybody, there was a bunch of claims that like a lot of equipment was busted. Someone brought out a giant pumpkin and like smashed it.
Yeah.
They cut the broadcast early. Someone asked Lee Ving, hey, they called him up and were like, hey, we heard that you did like $20,000 worth of damage, and he said, I'm a professional, I did $400,000 worth of damage.
Yeah, that's very much his attitude about stuff. There's a really good documentary, which actually might be an episode of this at some point, as the Sound City documentary. The one that Dave Grohl directed, it's about the Sound City like studio, which is where like Nirvana recorded and all that stuff. It's also where Fear recorded The Record. It was their like debut album. Yeah, that was like a famous like early punk rock record. He like interviews for a minute there, and he's like. He tells a story, I think, at one point where one of the engineers was like, hey, you gotta slow the songs down. And he was just like, it's got the same amount of notes as a longer song. We just play it faster. It's just like, what the fuck? I will admit, Fear was never one of them. I was like very big into punk rock for a long time, and I still love a lot of it. Like Fear was never one of my favorite bands, but they were hugely influential, very important, and I immediately recognized Lee Ving's name come up on the screen. I was just like, really?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
In that case, I'm going to ask you, did you recognize the singing Telegram Girl?
She looked very familiar, but it didn't immediately pop into my head.
That's Jane Weedland, co-founder and rhythm guitarist for the Go-Go's.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you're right. That makes total sense. Yeah, she's like this tiny lady. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
She was also Joan of Arc in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was. I did know that one.
Continuing our group of people who are also musicians, or primarily musicians, the cop is a man named Bill Henderson, who is mostly a musician. He also does some acting, but he's a prolific jazz singer. I listened to some of his stuff today, and it's pretty good. I would recommend you look up Bill Henderson and listen to him.
I will have to check that out. It's not one that I'm familiar with.
But he also had a solid acting career. He was in movies like White Man Can't Jump and City Slickers, and he was in an early episode of The Twilight Zone.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like the later ones that they did, or the original?
The original, yeah, the black and white ones.
Oh, wow. He must have been really young.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
I think he was a cop in that one also.
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't an episode that was focused on him.
Sure.
I realized I was talking as I was like,
yeah, Hannah, talk into the microphone.
The cook was Kelly Nakahara. She was in MASH for the whole time.
I immediately recognized her from MASH. I was just like, I know her. Yeah.
They apparently cast her like halfway through the first season and thought that like maybe she wouldn't be there. She was there from like all the way through the end, basically.
Well, MASH was kind of famous for having a lot of characters that started out as just like random extras becoming like integral parts of the show.
Yeah.
Famously Klinger, Mr. Toledo Man, Jamie Farr, he like was just supposed to be like a one episode gag that people loved so much that he became like a core member of the cast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the motorist, his name is Jeffrey Kramer, and he was Deputy Hendrix in Jaws and Jaws 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stacked cast, everybody's like chewing the scenery all the way up.
Yeah. I was definitely impressed with the like everybody seemed to be having a good time.
There are times when like all I want to do is watch a movie where like everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, and also like I want to talk about like the set design.
Oh my God,
great.
yeah.
I did really like the house that they were in. It definitely fit the board game idea. You know, that you have all the different rooms and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it did a good job. You kind of got a good idea of like where all the rooms were placed in the house, even before the final scene where, you know, Tim Curry's running around showing where all the rooms are in relation to each other.
Yeah.
I actually liked that. The secret passages are really interesting.
Yeah.
It's exactly like the kind of house that you would expect a murder mystery to take place in. You know, that like 19th century mansion, everything's kind of falling apart a little bit. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, so the mansion had like the rooms in the interior rooms were actually all filmed on a soundstage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that I've mentioned it on this podcast before. I have a deep and abiding love for movies that are on sound stages.
Yeah.
If you show me an outdoor scene and it's very clearly an indoor scene and there's like a painted backdrop, I come alive. Like I am so happy every single time. I've only seen this movie like once when I was a very small child, but it's so deeply like embedded into myself. We're gonna have to watch it again. But like there are scenes from Legend that are just like burned into my brain as like this is what like a perfect image.
Okay.
But tragically, several of like the sets were lost in a giant fire, essentially. Yeah, including a lot of like the interior decorations, which some of that stuff was like from private collectors.
Yeah.
Including some of the state of Theodore Roosevelt, and some of that stuff was also lost in like a Paramount fire. Apparently,
I mean, yeah, it seemed like some like legit stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Really, really nice, and you know, it's. An interesting thing because the movie takes place in 1954, but also there's like antiques from, I'm assuming, like the turn of the century or earlier sort of like in there. So you kind of get this like mix of periods, which I always think is kind of cool. I always enjoy when movies and you know, TV shows and whatnot. You know, there's always a joke with Star Trek where it was just like, you know, every time they traveled to the past, it was always like the 1960s, you know, or the 1990s. It was whenever the show that was on was happening. So I always really appreciated it when they would do like, oh, they're going back in the past, but it's a different time.
Yeah.
You know, and also it's not like, you know, 1940s San Francisco on the holodeck again. You know, oh boy.
But yeah, I just love this movie. I'm glad you had a good time.
I did. I had a great time hanging out with my girlfriend and watching this very fun, you know, just kind of like, what's the word that I'm looking for? You know, it goes down easy. It was like a, you know, snack food kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you ever like want to put something on and just kind of like have a nice relaxing time and giggle a little bit, I super recommend.
Maybe like, you know, like maybe my criticisms, a lot of them could be kind of focused on the fact that I was probably trying to follow it like it were more of a murder mystery and less of it's just like a goofy fun time to enjoy.
You just got to lay back and let all of the Tim Curry ridiculousness wash over you.
Maybe I should have. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of reference to watch this film. So I would, you know, recommend to you, dear listener, that if you are going to watch this film, you've never seen it before, like go into it thinking it's going to be a wacky screwball comedy. Don't think about it as if it's going to be a murder mystery. 'Cause yeah, I was probably expecting a little more murder mystery.
Sure.
You know, that's on me though. Who played the FBI guy?
Oh, yeah.
The one that pretended to be a,
that was Howard Hessman, who has been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Hang on. Weirdly, he's like not on the IMDb page for this.
Huh.
But yeah, he's been in mostly a bunch of like TV shows and that kind of stuff. Laverne and Shirley.
Oh yeah. Hey, Michael McKean was on Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
That's probably how they know.
The Rockford Files, you know, a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah. So. Interesting.
Also, a weird thing, but I think like 3 of these actors are in this movie by Peter Bogdanovich called At Long Last Love, which is reportedly a horrible flop that I desperately want to see because it's almost lost media.
Oh.
Like, you can dig up copies of it, but it got like so critically panned and bombed so hard at the box office that Peter Bogdanovich issued a formal apology for it and then like removed it from distribution.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like I really want to see this movie.
It got Batgirled.
It got back. Yeah.
Well, no, it got released in the first place.
And, like,
yeah, Batgirl didn't get
no.
released. Yeah.
From what I understand, it's just like a comedic musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I at some point would really love to watch it. Long Last Love.
I do think it's funny how nowadays, like when something goes bad, like people really want to, you've got the red letter medias of the world who are like trying to find things that are terrible and then sort of, preserve them in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I think there was a certain time where it was like, oh, if it's bad, we need to throw it out and it doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretend it never happened.
Yeah,
Which, what a tragedy.
Yeah.
All art is reused somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm a believer in, like when people talk about history,
mm-hmm.
you talk about like, oh, there's like great man history and then there's history of the common people and all that kind of stuff. Like, to me, like one of the most interesting things about culture is the bad culture.
Yeah.
It's like the stuff that even back then they were like, this shit sucks. I like... It's part of the reason why I really think Shakespeare is fascinating, because Shakespeare was one of those artists who like transcended, like, it was sort of shitty commoner things, but also like the rich and famous liked it too.
Yeah.
Because you had to imagine there were people who were playing to to crowds and then also playing to nobles, and he was able to kind of do both.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Pompeii, I was fascinated by like, just like the fast food restaurants that are all around Pompeii. And I'm sure, like at the time people were like, oh, that's, that's low class stuff or whatever. But like, that's the cool shit. And, when we sort of throw away culture that it's not because it's bad. I don't want to say bad in a moral sense, like just poorly executed, not well done, like shitty Greek plays. Like, I want to know about what the shitty Greek plays were. Like when they were doing, Lysistrata, like, and they were like, wow, this is great. Like, what were they comparing that to?
Yeah.
What was the crappy stuff that they didn't like as much? I want to know, because that's fascinating to me. Like, I'm really interested in what the like lesser quality stuff that was going on then. Like what was the worst court jester in the Holy Roman Empire? Like, I want to know that stuff.
That stuff doesn't get preserved unless you're a crazy person like Ian Asir and you keep all of your bad reviews.
Yeah, totally. I just hope that one day somebody like digs up my band's record and goes, this fucking sucks.
This fucking sucks and I love it so much.
Yeah, in 100 years or whatever. So
I don't. I hope they're like, wow, this is great.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
people should have known about this.
It'll be I'll be the an artist that was totally unknown in my time.
Yeah, there are several people that I'm thinking of, like, that oftentimes outside artist people, like that guy who made like an entire city inside like a old like a storage unit out of like trash and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And like he worked on this like every evening and all of his weekends, and like almost pathologically he was working on this and never showed it to anybody.
Yeah.
And then he died and his family like opened it and were like, what is all of this nonsense?
What the fuck? Yeah.
It's so good. That's so wonderful.
No, I love that stuff. Yeah. I love when people make things and it's obvious that they enjoy them and they care about it.
Me too, which is why I love this movie.
Yeah. It's like making high class art that you have no personal connection to. Sure, that's fine, whatever. But making some trash that you love, it's like, I don't read a lot of fan fiction, but like, I understand why it's important to people.
Me too.
Because it's trash that's like, it really matters to you.
Yep.
So, let your freak flag fly, folks.
If it evokes a feeling, it's not useless.
Yeah, yeah. Those feelings can be many things. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure we do.
Yeah. Cool. Well, is there anything else we wanted to discuss on this one?
That's about it from me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Kind of a short episode this week, folks.
Kind of a short movie, but yeah.
Yeah, just a nice kind of breezy, fun time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get you back to like talking about Twilight and James Bond, whatever dumb bullshit we're talking about, and we're gonna spend an hour or whatever talking about. But we're just having fun today.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, I've been Hannah.
I've been Donovan.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Toodaloo.
Bye.
And communism was a red herring.
Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.